previous video, we learned how to select objects. Lots of different ways to select things. In this video, we're going to focus on the editing tools in the software. So we're going to focus on how to edit different paths and what all you can do with regards to the editing. So I have the same design up on the screen. If I click on it, you'll notice that it's all grouped together. So I'm going to ungroup it first by right mouse clicking and choosing ungroup. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to focus on different areas and want to be able to select them. So I'm going to come into this area down here on this tail, and I'm going to click and select this black outline right here. So when I have that selected, what I'm going to do is come up to the top, the third icon down, and choose the edit, the shape edit tool. Notice that there is a little icon next to it, or a little arrow that'll let you see that you can edit the path or edit the outline. So we're just in the basic edit path. That's what you use most of the time. And when you get into this edit mode, you'll notice that now you're going to see these blue dots every so often. And those are different control points, or we call them nodes, where I can click on it and drag it. And notice that when I do, you can see that line moves with it. And not only that, but you'll notice that there's some other lines here, dotted lines with a box there. If I click and drag this, notice that I can reshape that area, and it's reshaping it from this point to the next point. So you just left click and hold, and you can drag it to reshape it. And then when you release it, it's going to move it to that area. Notice I have two lines in there, so you're seeing two lines being adjusted. So getting back into this one, I can right mouse click on any of the points or the line. You can see that I could delete it if I want. So if I delete it, it's going to take it all the way to the next one. I'm going to hit undo. When I right mouse click, I can get to changing the type of node or point that it is from, right now it's probably smooth. I could change it to a line, and what that does is it's going to make a straight line from this point to the next one. I'm going to undo. Or I can change it into a cusp, smooth, or symmetrical. And these are just different ways. If you want to make sure that you can adjust it and make it a smooth curve, you want to choose smooth. If you do symmetrical, it's going to make this line, I'll just do that right quick. When you click on it, this line and this line, when I click and drag one, it drags the other. And if I go over here and I go undo, if I right click on it now and I choose smooth, the difference with smooth is that it doesn't keep it symmetrical, so I can drag this line far, but it keeps this line in the same spot. And then you also have what's called cusp. If I right mouse click on here and I choose cusp, what this does is allows me to affect everything. Like if I do this one, it'll let me affect this line, but it won't touch this one. So watch as I click and drag, notice that this line stays the same. So it's kind of like it lets it work independently on one side or the other. And if I right click on it again, I can do a split line where I can split that line at that node. And if I come in here now, you're going to see that I can actually click and drag it. It's not a part of the line anymore because I split it. Let me undo that. So I'll get back into the shape edit. So those are the different things that you have the ability to do when it comes to editing, like using the path tool here. It's very handy. You'll use it a lot if you're doing any kind of editing. And all it does is it works with the different points. If you select something that's a satin stitch, you'll notice that there's a few more things. This green dot is the start point where that stitch is going to start. The red dot is the end point. You can modify those. You can change where they start and stop. And that is all done inside of using the shape edit tool. This, because it's a satin stitch, it's showing the angle of the stitches. I can click and drag and modify that, and you'll notice that these stitches, these yellow stitches, change because I'm modifying the direction that I want them to go. So that's a very handy thing when editing stitches on like some of the designs that you bring in. As long as they're a WAF file, you'll be able to, which is the Floriani format, you'll be able to edit the design in any way you want. So that is the shape edit tool. The next thing that I want to show you is when you select something, like I have this selected right here, you have the ability to copy it, paste it, or cut it out of the design entirely. It's very simple to do. I have this selected. I can come up here and I can choose either the cut or copy, and so this time I'm going to copy it, and then I can just click the icon for paste and it will paste a duplicate of it. It's kind of hard to see, but if I click and drag, you'll notice that now I have two of them instead of one. If I hit paste again, it's going to paste another one in because it remembers what I just copied. If I want to get rid of this one, I can hit this cut button and that will cut it out of the design. And I can cut it again and that will cut the other one out. So that's a cut, copy, paste. There are keyboard shortcuts for it, and you can right mouse click and choose cut, copy, or paste as well. Keyboard shortcuts for copy is Control C on your keyboard. If I press Control C, you'll see that I get the little plus symbol underneath this hand. Watch right here. See that little plus symbol that showed up? Now if I hit Control V, it just pasted another copy of it. So Control C to copy, Control V as in Victor to paste. Now the other unique or very handy editing tool is using the undo and redo. So if you just did something and you want to go back to where you were before you made that last change, you can just hit the undo button and it will undo whatever you did. Or I can hit redo and it will bring it back. So if I want to get this piece back in place, I can just hit undo as many times as I need to. You have unlimited undos. Just click it until it gets back into the location I need it to be. And it undid everything that I did to that point. So that is the undo, the redo, showed you the cut, copy, and paste. Those are your basic edit functions for working with designs and editing their shapes or copying and pasting them. So I hope this video was helpful and helps you get started with doing some basic editing to designs you bring into the software.